Okay, time now is 8:11 a.m. on September 28th. Uh, I slept from 3 a.m. to, no, 3:30? Uh, okay, I woke up at 7:50, I think. No, I woke up at 8. I woke up at 8. Yeah, think I slept from around 3:30 to 8. So that's about 4 hours and 30 minutes. No, it wasn't 3:30. It was 3 a.m. Yeah, it was around 3 a.m. Yes, it's 3 a.m. Yes, 3 a.m. to 7:50, and or 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. So that's about 5 hours, which is not too bad, I guess. Better than yesterday, better than 2 days ago. But yeah, I'm still very sleepy, but I do feel a little better right now than yesterday morning. And yeah, I plan to watch 5 episodes of anime. I only watch one. Um, Still pretty unproductive. I spent a whole hour doom scrolling before I even had dinner. I think whenever I'm tired, I just do that. I just doom scroll. But yeah, so today, another day of film set. I'm gonna be chilling mostly, hopefully. Um, and yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, I'm gonna try to advertise myself to the 450 students. Make good use of every opportunity I get. Yeah, that's that. Uh, yeah, I don't know. The more I think about Jayan, I, the more I just fall out of love with her. I just think, and I hate saying that because I was head over heels for her like 4 weeks ago. But I don't know, her just having this constant energy, this like upbeat energy, this voice. I don't know. Yeah, and that sucks because I'm back to square one, you know. Yeah, excited for tomorrow where I get to sleep. Excited for tomorrow indeed. Bruh, let's go.
Giants? Okay. Because I'm fine with this level. I need a little more. A little more. Do you have drills?
Okay. Okay, guys. There can we go?
Whoa.
Can we just coordinate rides home?
Okay, time now is 1:55 a.m. It's really late. Let's talk about today. Yeah, today is day 4 of Starman, but obviously it felt like to me day 9th. And I woke up, I had half a cinnamon roll, and then suddenly I realize I don't have time. I run to the bus stop, and I took a bus, went to set, and it's been chill today. Most part of the day has been extremely chill, and I don't know why. I think I slept for 5 hours ish, so I felt way more energetic than yesterday, which when I slept for 3 hours yesterday. Um, so that's a crazy difference. But yeah, I felt more energetic today, so I wasn't as discouraged. But still, because I was still very tired from all the days of sleeping so little, I had this weird kind of sarcastic energy to me today, so I kept making jokes. I kept fooling around. I keep making weird noises and saying weird things, and it felt really nice. I really miss this kind of feeling. So I kind of enjoyed today as a whole, even though it wasn't that enjoyable. So shortly after set started, we didn't really have to do much. So at around 10, me and Sydney actually went to the USC Village and to Dulce to buy some breakfast. I bought an apple pie donut and a matcha, and she bought a brick toast and also a matcha, and then but she went on scooter, so we would go our separate ways and then we would come back. But yeah, so that's that. And then for a good chunk of the day today, we would just be like, I would just be sitting down, and in the morning I would be drinking matcha, and then I'll be drinking, and then I would just fall asleep on my chair, and then I wake up, and then I continue drinking matcha, and then at 12 we built in the doorway, and two very thin flats to complete the four-sided walls of the laboratory, and that was fine, that was chill because we had a lot of RPAs and stuff. And then we basically left, and then again for several hours I have nothing to do. And then at 3 we had lunch, and then that was okay. Lunch was El Pollo Loco again, and I had a burrito with some chips and churro, which is nice. I sat in a big group. I sat with Seda, the Armenian girl, and then I also talked to Ethan Go, and then Jain was there, and then of course Colin, the white boy, was there, Colin Nelson. But yeah, it was a little awkward for a while because everyone's just sitting and talking among themselves, like Ethan Go and Jayang, and then Jain would be talking to Colin Nelson, and Seda has no one to speak to. I have no one to speak to, so I tried to strike up a conversation with Seda. And I wanted to avoid talking about film because I'm kind of sick of talking about it at this point, but I eventually talk about it regardless. But I tried to shift the conversation so that we would talk about Armenian. So Seda's trilingual, and she talked about how Armenians, like she has to write differently when writing in Armenian, but yeah, that's that. And then yeah, talk more with Ethan Go. Very fun. I feel like I don't know why, but I work really well with Ethan Go, even though we don't actually work together. But he shows up and he sings at me, and I sing back, and then I would say memes, and he would get it, and we would joke at each other. I don't know, but we just vibe on a very good level. And the thing is, I'm like a huge introvert, and he's an extrovert. And I think I'm more compatible with extroverts, so that's hilarious. Um, but yeah, I also I had a lot of free time, so I did some drawing, like sketching, and I was embarrassed by it. But Jordan, the PD, saw it and was like, "Oh, you're sketching." But yeah, I was trying to draw Jayun, but the thing is, Jayun's literally on the set, so every time I struggle with drawing her face shape, I go out and I literally see her face, and I even had the audacity to put up a pencil, like to my eye, right next to her face to sort of see her proportions, and then I started laughing like crazy, and someone was like, "Yeah, Enoch has lost it already," or maybe she said, "I've lost it already." But I was just having fun. I was not taking any of this seriously at all. And then sometime around 4 p.m., 5 p.m., I fell asleep again on the same chair. I would just like do this, and I would be asleep, or like I would change position and then I would fall asleep again. And it was kind of like if I was on a plane. um I think these days, in the last couple of years, I have become more and more susceptible to plane ride sleeps, to plane sleeps, yeah, um flight sleeps, because I'm always so tired. I'm perpetually tired. So I just fell asleep and fell asleep here, fell asleep there, and it was just nice. It was not comfortable, but it was also kind of nice. And I wake up and then I fall back asleep. It's so stupid. And then around 6, we started soft wrapping. Kira was sorting out a bunch of trash, like e-waste, stuff like that, from several boxes. It's genuinely gross and disgusting, but it was whatever. It's simple. It's better than heavy lifting. And then so we did all that, and then at the end of the day, at around 8 p.m., we started. At 6:30, we began wrapping, and wrapping was this huge deal. We talked to the producers about wrapping because we have 15 flats. Well, to be fair, 12, and we had so much shit on the walls, and we want to take down the whole thing in 2.5 hours. It's going to be really tough. So we talked a lot about wrapping, and I talked a lot about organization and putting the screws in the right cups and putting the clamps in the right cup, and putting the handles away, trash and whatever. And so we planned out a lot. And then the moment the producers were like, okay, it's a wrap, the AD held like a meeting and told us that we should all cooperate and help wrap. So literally everyone started helping out, like the Jiayun and some G&E people, all the art PAs, of course us, the art department, and just a bunch of random people in general just started rapping. And holy fucking shit, we rapped in lightning speed. Literally, I think within an hour and 20 minutes, we wrapped the whole freaking place. It was so fast. It's actually crazy. Rap last weekend was a nightmare. Rap this weekend was so efficient. It's like unspeakable. Probably the best moment of the entire set so far. And the thing is, we have 4 drills. Originally, we were going to get 2 drills from Jing Chen. Fun fact, yesterday, Jiayun was texting Jing Chen, like DMing Jing Chen about like his PD vault. And Jing Chen's like, ask Enoch. But the thing is, I don't even know. I know the location, but I don't have the code. Last time I went to that place, Jing Chen opened it for me, so I don't know the code. But he's like, ask Enoch, as if he's just shouting me out, when in fact he probably knows that I don't know as well. So Jiayun came up to me and asked me, but of course I don't have the answer because I don't have the code. Eventually, Jiayun sent John Kim to try. Turns out public storage is closed, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. It shouldn't close on a weekend. So my theory is that it's closed because it's too late, like it's after 6 p.m. or something, and they're lazy. So, yeah, so we only have 4 drills, not 6 drills, 4 drills. And I was like, you know what? 1 drill goes to Jordan, 1 drill goes to Kira, 1 drill goes to me, 1 drill goes to Sydney. The 4 art department people, we do it. And of course, I never got a freaking drill. And again, like throughout the last few set days, I always noticed that like whoever's holding the drill has power. It's like a status thing. It's like a power status thing where you have the drill. So you pull out the nails, you pull out the screws, and it seems like you're working. It seems like you're making a huge change, and you just seem like you hold more power. That's why I really, like during the build days, if I'm holding a jack in a flat and I'm looking at other people using the drill, I feel like an idiot because sometimes I feel like an idiot because it's like I can use the drill too. So for some reason, the drill becomes like an object of power, and whoever's given the drill is like the more important. So Jordan has a drill, Kira has a drill at some point, and then Dana, one of the art PAs from 450, has a drill. And then Sydney started begging him, can you give me the drill? And Dana's like, no. And Sydney's like, come on, I'm in this class, just give me the drill. And Dana's like, no, I'm gonna use it first. And then Sydney gave up and walked away, and Dana started laughing. But eventually, Sydney got a drill. But I just saw the whole thing went down, and I'm like, damn. So I don't want to like fight for a drill and feel jealous or anything. And I had this ingenious idea. Why don't I use a screwdriver? So I just use a screwdriver. I did not touch a drill at all during the rap. I just use a screwdriver, just a stick, and just turn it. And I find it way cooler. Like, I feel badass using a screwdriver because I'm different from the others. Drills are easy, screwdrivers are harder. So in some ways, it's like, it's an even better proof of my talent and my dedication. I spend way more time unscrewing things, and I still managed to unscrew like at least 20 to 30 screws, and my wrist was literally hurting. But I was like, hell yeah, look at me go. And I inspired Ethan Go to do the same. He had this Swiss knife, or maybe it's someone else's, but there's a screwdriver part in that Swiss knife. So he started like following me, and he was like, Enoch, I'm following you. And I'm like, damn. So I did not use a drill at all. I hopped onto an Apple box, and I just undrewed a bunch of stuff, unscrewed a bunch of stuff. So yeah. At some point, John was trying to get a bunch of cables untangled, but they're stuck on top because there's a clamp. There's a 2-hole strap. So I told her that, no response. And then Sydney told her that, and John's like, oh yeah. And again, it's like one of those moments where, am I not projecting my voice enough? Am I not having an authoritative voice enough? Is my voice not powerful enough? But I was snarky about it. I was like, that's what I was trying to say. That's what I was saying. But yeah. I wasn't mad at all or anything, I think I was more mad during the first weekend. But yeah, just unscrewed a lot, and it was lightning fast, and then helped move a few flats, and I moved a flat with Jayun, and then, yeah, and then that's, pretty much it. And then we left the soundstage early. I got a ride from this tall grip guy and Caitlin, who is the sound mixer, and they drove me to Michaela Ash's garage, where like 15 of us or 12 of us were there, just ready, all hands on deck, move everything out of the U-Haul truck back to the garage. And it was the fastest, most efficient move of history. And I was trying to tell people, okay, put this there, and it was nice. It was like, it was really efficient. Yeah, again, I was in a very jokey mood. I heard a firework went off, and I was like, wow, the neighbors are annoyed with us. But yeah, overall, it was good. Yeah, and I like that the more I work on this set, the more I have an idea of what a PD should do and what I should keep in mind of as a PD. I think in all the previous sets as set dresser, I'm always just focused on set dressing. Like, I just follow the PD orders, but now I'm trying to think ahead, and I think that's very important. So now I'm thinking about, labeling things and stocking up on tape and screws, and having a PD corner, etc., being more well prepared, communicating with the producers and the DP. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, and then like throughout the day I also came up with cool ideas for the next weekend's shoot, cool prop ideas, etc. And yeah, just bonded with my department pretty well. Again, there were moments of friction. There's this, Kira really wants to throw most of the e-waste away, if not all, because Kira's just sick of it. But Jordan wants to keep most, if not all of it. And there are moments where Jordan's like, what are you doing? We're keeping it. And Kira's like, no. And Jordan's like, yeah. And I forgot if I talked about this or not, but last night, or yesterday, before we put in the module, the lab, the console, the first AD Micaiah was like, we have this is the hour to build in the console and, before we break for lunch. But then they're still filming the space scenes and all the house lights are off. And then the first AD, Micaiah, talked to Jordan, and Jordan's like, wait, so we're moving the console now? Can we turn the house lights on? And then Micaiah's like, no, they're shooting. And then Jordan's like, so is this not the hour? And Micaiah was like, this is the hour. And Jordan's like, okay, but this is not the hour. And it's just so stupid. But yeah, that's basically it. Also, when I sat in the car with those two random people, they talked about how this set is so cool because there's no arguments aside from James. And I'm like, oh, James, the young boy from Chapman. Apparently, James is treating everyone really weird. James argued with Isaac Pike, who I don't even recognize. Isaac Pike about a lighting rig, which is kind of silly but harmless, And then they started arguing, and James started recording Isaac's argument. And yeah, it was weird because James told me Colin Nelson treated him like shit, which is great news to me. I like to know that Giant's boyfriend is a shitty human being. That's good news to me. But as it turns out, James is the shitty one, so that's hilarious. But yeah. I'm glad I'm taking it well, even though there's friction, even though there's conflict. But to me, it's like, it's a film set. Of course there's going to be conflict. Of course there's going to be some friction, but it's okay because it's a film set. And it's bound to happen, and, it's okay. So I'm, like, used to it, kind of. Yeah. Yeah, and I also met this guy, William, who I think is also in 450, who is a huge cinephile. We talked about movies, we talked about Bergman's Persona, we talked about Stalker, we talked about Ikiru. We were gushing about like our favorite films, and it was like right before rap, and there was me, him, and this Olivia, and also Sydney, and everyone else just do not watch a lot of films, especially Olivia, who, even though she seems like a really skilled person, she seems like an asshole because she's so assertive when she speaks. She dominates everything. And when she talked about yesterday, she talked about transferring to USC from a community college in New Jersey. And she talked about how when she was in that college, she's like the best student. She's more accomplished than everyone else. And the students and even the teachers were jealous of her. So when she transferred to USC, no one really liked that. But I just thought that she sounded a bit egotistical when she said that. But it's funny because she doesn't really watch a lot of films. But I am this William guy with the frazzled hair, ginger hair. We're sort of talking a lot about films. So yeah, and I like that my ulterior motive with Starman is basically to advertise myself to the 450 people as much as I can, and also I guess the other thing is to check out. Originally, the idea is over the course of this film set, I'm going to get closer and closer to Jayan, and then eventually, we'll be close enough and comfortable enough with each other for me to ask her out. But of course, that violently changed course. Which brings me to the final part of the day. I went back home, and Jayan immediately texted me. Just pure messages, not IGDM, not WeChat. She said, guess who's going to the Smashing Machine premiere tomorrow? Me and Sundiata are going there because Sundiata got some tickets for me. And I'm like, cool. And I don't know why it's so fucking vapid. Why does she feel the need to tell me that? So at some point I was just like, cool, that's a very useful piece of information. Like, thank you for telling me. And I hate sounding mean, but genuinely, what is the point of telling me that? Other than to, piss me off, make me jealous? I think Jayan really likes to convince everyone else that she is amazing. And she's not doing it in a very mean way yet. But Every time she tells me, oh, I just got this job, I just got this internship, she doesn't tell me anything negative about her. She only tells me positive things about her. And she doesn't add anything onto that. She doesn't go, well, how about you? How are you doing? And, you know, what have you accomplished? Like, she doesn't do that. She just talks about herself and her accomplishments, and then that's it. So at some point, I'm just like, why? And I think she became a little self-aware. She's like, yeah, I like to flex my wins. But I think when she said that, I made her reflect on her own words. Genuinely, why tell me? You know, if she truly cares about me, then ask about me. You know, she doesn't seem that concerned with me or what I've accomplished. Also, completely unrelated, but Nobi Norbert, his weird response to me being in cams, I bet he hasn't seen any of my short films. He doesn't know that I make films too, and even though they're not great, but they're better than 70% of the garbage that a lot of students here make anyways. Or like 60% or 50 or 40. I don't know, but at least I made something. But yeah, Giant telling me all that, and then a little bit later Giant said, oh, you know, what are you doing this Thursday night? Or like next Thursday night? And I'm like, well, I have a class. Which, yeah, it's true. I do have class. And she's like, oh, well, never mind, because that's the only day I'm free. And I'm like, okay. And there's something really sad about this. Again, I don't know how to feel about Jairin at this point. I think she lost a lot of her charm in the last few weeks. Like, I'm falling out of love with her, honestly, which has never happened before. With Leslie, it wasn't really like that. With Mary, I never fell out of love. With Mary, I think I was in love with her, and I just kind of have to let go. But when I return and think about Mary, I still see her as this beautiful, amazing, nice, sort of angelic human, or not angelic, but like supernatural being. Leslie, I was pretty obsessed with her, and then it's a violent fuck punch, and that was just violent. With Jiren, it's like I got obsessed with her, it peaked, and now it's slowly and gradually falling down. And I still like her a lot. I still think she's really pretty. She's really interesting. I think yesterday I was suddenly reminded that she has a very interesting background, you know. She went through shit in her childhood. She has very strong aspirations in life. She's interesting, but now I don't feel that way. Now when I see her and speak to her, I don't really feel that way. So I don't know. But Jiren was like, yeah, come hang out with me on Thursday. And I don't even know if I want to anymore. I want to, but I don't want to, you know? I want to get close to her and tell her that I like her, but I also just don't, because it's futile, she's gonna reject me, and she's not even that interesting. So I don't really know what to say anymore. I think eventually we will hang out. We have to have that conversation, but I'm also good without her. I'm done. I'm really done with her. And again, she's watching one battle after another. She's watching Smashing Machine alone, and come to realize we've never watched a single film together, by the way. I've always had this thought that we're going to watch so much stuff together. At the end of the day, I've never seen a single film with her. Not even as part of class. At least with Leslie, we saw Seven Samurai and Ron and 2001. With Jiren, we didn't share a single cinematic experience. So, you know, meh, you know? So, that's pretty much it. There was a moment today, after we moved some flats in the truck, me and Jiren were walking back to stage 3, and I told Jiren, you should wear some gloves. And Jiren's like, no. And I think I said, oh, but you're gonna get hurt. Or I think she said, I'm I'm just gonna enjoy the pain. I love the pain and the agony, and I'm like, nice. And I said Starman moment, and she's like, well, not really Starman, but you know, I'm so fucking edgy. And that's another thing. It's like in the click to view mixer, I've met a couple of people who are like edgy, like Hot Topic, fishnets, thigh highs, like gothy makeup, that Chinese girl, and I'm just dressed like some normal guy. But truth be told, the stuff I make and the stuff I'm writing are like some of the most psychotic and edgy shit that I think a USC student can think of. Up there with Tristan St. Germain. So yeah, despite Tristan being like weird with Maisie and stuff, I still like look up to the guy. And I hope he sees my weird stuff. I really do. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Genuinely don't know what to do with Jiren. I can't believe she has no idea that I like her. But eventually she'll have to know. But yeah, tomorrow should be chill. I get to sleep, which I'm really excited about. And I should just like take a shower now. I haven't even watched anime. Fuck. Okay, time now is 11:35 a.m. in the morning on September 29th. Yeah. We're entering week 6 out of 16. Week 6. God damn. I can't believe we're already close to the middle point of the semester. What the fuck? Yeah. I slept from 3:45 to 11:30. I naturally woke up at around 9:30, but yeah. So that's quite nice. It's 7 hours and 45 minutes, which is pretty good. And I feel a little rejuvenated. I feel good. So, yeah, today should be more chill. I think I'm gonna be having a meeting with Eris Baker at 3 p.m. Not too sure if it's actually gonna happen or not, but we'll see. And then tonight I'm seeing Shelby Oaks at the Egyptian Theater. So it's very interesting. It's Monday, but to me it's the start of the weekend. Monday and Tuesday is basically the new Saturday and Sunday for me. I get to sleep, I get to chill, nothing's gonna happen. So yeah, that's basically it. I don't really have anything else to add. Yeah, I had a dream, but I kind of forgot what happened already. I think, yeah, I don't know. Last night I was still a little upset about Jiren last night. Uh, and again, I was just having these thoughts about being an underdog and how much of an underdog I am, you know, being in cams and being just not having the same, because I'm just imagining a reality where I entered film production, where I got to do my 310, and I'm just thinking about how crazy I would make my 310 and how much I would make a name for myself with a very crazy 310, Yeah. But I don't know. I think in some ways, um, I think in some ways, I am kind of in film production. Like, again, I got to work on Launch Order a 310, and I got to work on a 480 right now. I'm sort of getting that experience. I don't get the chance to direct a 310, and that's, I think, the sad part. But I still make films and submit it to DK Film Festival and have it screened at Cams Fest. And so it kind of, people do kind of see my films eventually. And my 290 Part 2, my 290 Project 2 is basically a 310. As close as to a 310 as my projects can get. So, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Andrew actually texted me yesterday asking me for help for his IMAX film, which is a midterms. And I said I can't help because I need to help on Starman. So, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I'm also gonna go to Ralph's today to buy some food, because I'm actually running out again. I also want to hit the gym. I want to work out, but I'm also very tired from all the lifting things in the last few days. So I don't really know. But yeah, that's basically it. That's basically it. Yeah, don't know what to do with Jiren. Really don't know what to do. Just no idea. I think the more I think about Jiren, the more I think that she might be pretty, and there might be very interesting parts of her childhood. But right now, her personality might not be it for me. There's something kind of plastic about her personality. Also, the way she flexes on people, the way she kind of feeds her own ego. At the end of the day, she's a 20-year-old girl, and despite having had, multiple relationships, she's not that mature of a person. And she still, despite being very accomplished, she still doesn't realize several things that she's doing. Like she's feeding her own ego constantly, and she like abandons the quiet moments of life and pushes herself for greatness, when in fact life is so much more than just greatness and achievements. Yeah. Giant is the closest thing to an interesting girl I've met in all of USC. Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's probably a good idea for me to move on and search for someone else. I mean, honestly, at some point, I know it sounds silly, but I've been avoiding dating apps for 4 years, and maybe it's time I use one. But I hate that shit. And I think if I already have a difficulty liking anyone in real life, I think online I will have even more of a difficulty. I'm a very real life person. So yeah, we'll see. But Jiren is not it, I think. Yeah. So yeah, that's that. Oh my god. Oh my god. We made it.
1 second. 1 second. Okay.
Who's that blue velvet? You said blue velvet. You said too. Writer and director of Shelby Oaks, Mr. Chris Stuckman.
Hey everybody. This is my first time at Beyond Fest. This is my first time at the Egyptian Theater. I've never been here before. It's incredible. I was told it's the oldest theater in all of Hollywood. Is that true? That's amazing. I was here briefly for a spot check. It sounds good. It looks good. I'm so happy it's here. Thank you to Beyond Fest. Thank you to Christian and Neon. And thank you guys for coming. I saw a few hands who are backers. Thank you guys too. You guys seriously saved our asses when we were like really needing money, so thank you. You let us make the movie. In your creepy ass place, and they're like, sure, you can get away with that in Ohio. It's great. I had to tell some of them it was a children's film, and they believed me. Because they didn't want to watch a horror movie, and they were very Christian, and I was like, okay, that's fine. Nobody's perfect. It was great. It was great. It was such a privilege to work on this movie, and I just can't thank everyone for being here enough.
Director of Shelby Oaks, Chris Stuckman. My man, you're a bad man. You're so nice, you're so soft-spoken, I watch your reviews, and then you make something like this. How do you go from being that guy to now this guy?
I think that's the horror community, though. Like Mike Flanagan's the same way. Like when you meet horror filmmaker Guillermo del Toro, they're the nicest people on earth because they get all their demons out doing that.
It's true. And you have some demons. Let's get into the beginning of this and the genesis of this. How did Shelby Oaks materialize?
It started as something I was doing with my wife, horror sketches we would do for our Halloween special, you know, and we would go and just film really fun stuff together. And this is before we had kids, had a little more freedom to get around, and we drove to Tennessee and we shot this cabin in the woods sketch there. And on the way home, we had a 6-hour drive, and we were so fucking tired of waiting to make movies. You know, and I think waiting is the hardest thing really when you're a filmmaker, because it's a constant state of waiting no matter what stage of production you're in, or no production. And we were like, let's just make a movie for $20,000, shoot it ourselves, and put it on YouTube. And that was the first idea for Shelby Oaks.
So how did you then transition? So the idea for Shelby Oaks, or the idea to make a film?
No, Shelby. That was like the original idea was like, we'll just have it be about missing YouTubers, and we'll do it ourselves, and we'll just pay for it and put it on YouTube. And so, but as we were writing it, it just kept evolving and turning into other things, and I couldn't stop the ideas from flowing. And I would talk to my wife, and I'd be like, I think it got bigger. I think the movie's got more characters now. I think I want to do a shift from found footage to the traditional narrative, and am I allowed to do that? And it just kept getting bigger and bigger as time went on, and I couldn't stop them.
And was she just like, yes, you can do that, you can do whatever you want?
My wife is super supportive. But she's also very smart. Like we went through a lot of the dialogue together. Like, you know, we would say it out loud. We'd put on little mini plays on our back porch. We'd stay up till 4 a.m. figuring out this movie, you know? And, but no, I mean, I had a call with a filmmaker, his name's Josh Lobo, he did this movie called I Trapped the Devil. And I was like, I got this idea that kind of it would shift. Is that a rule that I'm allowed to break? And he was like, what? There are no fucking rules. Just make your movie. It kind of freed up my brain to kind of go into some of those places.
As you look at the film now, when you think back to those early conversations, did you ever imagine that it would appear like this?
No.
Is this what you, okay.
Never. I like I said, YouTube. I was like, we're just gonna put it on my channel. I don't even care if I get paid. I don't care. I'm so tired of not making movies, you know?
Where did the paranormal paranoids come into this? Because
that was the very, very first idea. The idea was like, we'll take place, the movie will take place in 2008. We'll follow some YouTubers, and we'll just have it all be from their POV. And then it eventually shifted to like Mia, the sister, and the backstory, and having that be the impetus for the story.
so while you're making shorts and put them out on YouTube, you're also building out the lore and the world of this thing, so
Yeah.
it's kind of complementary itself.
Yeah, I mean, it started like as an ARG technically, because we shot all of the Paranormal Paranoids episodes back in 2020. We were all masking up, and it was just me and the actors, and they're all here, and you know, shooting with a camcorder.
Now that we've seen the film, can we grab a round of applause for
Yeah, we shot on tape. You know, I lured them into the woods.
tape? What year was this again?
2020.
Okay.
You know, and they trusted me.
Digital existed then.
What's that?
Digital still existed then, but you wanted that texture, right?
I
You
didn't
wanted that grit.
I didn't have children then, so COVID was like a new thing. The world felt like a very different place.
So you shot on tape.
Yeah, we shot on tape, ADV. Like I said, with a camcorder. All of our gear for the YouTube episodes are period accurate. We didn't use any new gear. We didn't mic up the actors. We felt like there was this amazing sense of discovery to early YouTube. And I'm from that era of YouTube, where it just felt like they didn't care about money. The word monetization was not something you heard. You didn't hear people, you know, hoping they would get famous or whatever. It was just people discovering that they could put stuff online, and it felt kind of safe and quaint. And I wanted to kind of capture that with those Paranoid episodes, that place where they could just explore whatever they loved.
What about post on that stuff? Did you use period specific?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I edited those on iMovie on my iMac from 2007. Because I didn't want to be tempted to use any modern editing, you know, techniques or whatever. Not that I'm a great editor, but like Brett Bachman and Patrick Lawrence, our amazing editors, are here.
They didn't use iMovie.
They didn't use iMovie, no.
That's good. So the transition then, at what point do you go from making these shorts and getting those onto YouTube to then making the transition to Kickstarter and getting the backer support that we found there?
So I met up with Aaron B. Kuntz, who's here as well, producer of Paper Street Pictures. I met him at Fantastic Fest in 2019, which is where I first pitched him this idea. And you know, him and I, we talked a lot about the notion of let's just kind of Cloverfield this thing. And I don't know if you guys remember the ARG campaign for Cloverfield, but when I saw Transformers in 2007, I enjoyed that movie quite a bit. But what I remember the most about seeing that movie, and by the way, these are backers. We had a very long credits roll because we wanted to put everybody in. We wanted to put everyone in it, but I met Kuntz at Fantastic Fest, and when I saw Transformers, there was this teaser for this movie where a Statue of Liberty head fell out of the fucking sky and landed in New York City, and it cut to black with a date, and that was it. And I was obsessed with whatever that movie was, and I was looking it up online, and when I went home on the IMDb message boards back in the day, there was already all this stuff. There were news reports from Japan about something that fell out of the sky, and it was already there. And that was the initial conversation, was can we just put all of this stuff on YouTube and see if anybody kind of buys it? And I kid you not, some of the first comments we got, because none of our names were attached, I had somebody comment, oh yeah, I remember them. And I was like, no, you fucking don't. I made that up. But it worked, and then there were more people who were like, yeah, I don't know, this vaguely feels familiar to me. And I think it was really just like the vibes of that texture of that time in YouTube where there were a lot of people just making things like that.
And the authenticity you
Yeah.
brought to it as well.
Right.
It all felt lived in. But also YouTube was kind of like a dangerous place thinking about the footage or materials that would make their way on there before, because you didn't know if things were real or not.
Yeah.
And you would find things that would just appear long before, like the Vivos and everyone else kind of like took over.
Right.
It was kind of Wild West, which was really exciting.
Yeah.
So from there to Kickstarter.
Conversations with our producers, but more specifically our amazing director of photography, Andrew Baird, who is here as well. Genuine genius and fellow lover of Nacho Libre. Him and I shot listed everything and storyboarded everything, and we had blocking diagrams, and we were so specific. We had a year to prep this movie because of all of our delays, and we kind of just had a conversation, looked at each other, and we were like, we don't have the money to make the movie we want to make. And I kind of went home, and I had never really asked my subscribers for anything. I don't even say like and subscribe. I don't even go that far when I make a video. And it felt uncomfortable for me to ask for support until it was, like I had, again, conversations with Aaron about the notion of inviting people into the process of making the movie and creating a sort of like a mini film school experience for the backers. And that clicked with me. Like, I can provide something for them too. This isn't just about please donate money. And so we had a BTS person, Blair Bathory, who's also here on set with us every day, filming us, interviewing us, and we posted BTS videos while we were shooting to Kickstarter. So people who backed the movie got to see the behind the scenes, every single week. And I've met a lot of backers since doing our backer screenings across the nation. And many people came up to me and were like, we learned more there than we did at film school. Because we're showing, we're lifting the curtain. It's like, this is how it is to make a movie without a lot of money. And this is how you actually have to do it.
Did the response, so you then make that transition, you announce that you're looking for funding, support, you want to bring audiences in. What was that like? Because, as I said at the beginning, this is the largest crowdsourced crowdfunding there has been for a horror movie, period. Not just on Kickstarter, but period.
Right.
What was that like, seeing this thing explode? And then how did it change the film that you guys were making?
Well, first and foremost, I remember the first day where we launched the campaign. I told my wife, I'm like, we're not going to look at the numbers. Let's just go relax. And we went to a pizza parlor and had this giant ass pizza, and it was delicious. My phone kept going like zzz,
notifications.
On the table. I had it face down, so I'm not going to look at it. And I looked at it. And it was Koontz, and he was like, just look at the numbers. And we hit 250,000 in one day, which was our ultimate goal, was 250. And that's where I felt like, okay, I can do it for that. We can find a way. And we ended up making over $1 million, on it. And it allowed us, what it did was, first off, we were instantly able to go into production, which is amazing, to just be like, let's stop waiting, we're gonna shoot.
How long was the Kickstarter run to generate that money, and then what was the window between hitting that $1 million and then jumping into production?
How long was it?
Yeah.
What was it, Aaron? Like 2 weeks?
30-day Kickstarter.
30 days?
30 days after we started shooting.
Yeah.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you were ready to go.
Yeah, no, we did it. And that's because, again, of the backers, that and it was, like I said, it was important to me that they felt valued. This wasn't just about, thanks for the money, I got it, and we ran. Every single reward tier is being fulfilled. We're out there making sure that everybody feels like their money is, valued.
Going from 250 then to $1 million, the film that you would plan to make at 250, all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's a much bigger sandbox with which I can play in now.
Yeah.
So did you go back into the film, and then did you start building that out?
I think
the
what
film
we did,
itself changed?
Not really. I think what we did was the schedule changed. We suddenly were able to shoot for more days and have a little bit more time to kind of get into some of those scenes. Days where we were originally going to cram, and we still did cram, where we shot in 20 days. But like days where we originally thought we're not going to make it out of this alive became days where we were just really tense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the narrative itself, actually less the narrative, thinking about the found footage piece and the relationship between that and the scripted narrative, that was always storyboarded. You always wanted to do that rug pull.
Yeah. I mean, like all of the B-roll that's in the doc is scripted because we had to shoot all of that. You know, when you make a true crime documentary, you source from real B-roll, and you have crime scene photos, security camera footage, family photos, everything. If we have B-roll, not only do the actors have to know what they're referencing when they're speaking on camera, but we had to have that, you know, for the film. And there were times in the edit where I'd be like, oh man, I wish we had like an extra search party photo, and I'd call my friends and go out in the woods and get a search party photo really quick and just, you know, do everything you can.
Was it completely different setups, the way that you shot the found footage to how you do the scripted narrative? Like what was that process like? Did you shoot all the found footage first, second? Were they
most of the mockumentary stuff was done first, and I've told this story before, and I'm going to embarrass our incredible lead actress, Camille Sullivan. I will work with you on anything you ever want to do. I don't care what it is. If you want to shoot a Tide commercial, Camille, I'll be there. On day one, we had her scheduled to shoot her entire interview for the documentary portion, and that's 17 pages. And we shot it in a couple hours, and we wrapped 5 hours early that day because she brought it.
Yeah.
And she, you know, we had it all scheduled for a day. We were gonna break it up, give her a chance to take a break or whatever. And she was like, no, let's just do it in one take. And so we shot with 2 cameras, 3 takes, and we were done. And I watched her face and body go from remembering her sister, joy, to fear, remembering her night terrors, to talking about her mother and her history and all of this stuff. She would just morph into that and remembering the B-roll, like, oh, this is when they're gonna show a shot of the Ferris wheel. It was astounding. Absolute pro.
At what point in the shoot did that take place?
That was day one.
Oof.
Yeah, and we wrapped, like I said, 5 hours early on day one, and the faces on the crew, when they were like, wait, we can just go home? And we were like scrambling, like, can we get anything else? But we were set up for the documentary at that time, so we just were like, fuck it, let's just go home and have a great day one.
And so much of the film rests on her shoulders.
Yeah.
I mean, it's super critical. If she doesn't land this, the film doesn't work.
I had confidence in her from this movie she did called Hunter x Hunter, which is amazing. You should definitely see that. But after day one, she was just never something I worried about again. It was like, oh no, Camille's got it.
Yeah.
Any anxiety of that was just gone.
Did you then afford it? Did you give her the freedom then to improvise and stuff as well? Or was it like, these are the pages, let's stick to what
we did a little bit of things, like sometimes Camille would be like, can I say fuck instead of shit? Stuff like that. But you know, when you're shooting at such a crunch time, there's not a lot of room for changing things too much. You kind of just have to keep going.
Did you work on her character's arc before to get closely together, or was it like you kind of came together really as you were getting into production?
We had a lot of Zoom calls beforehand to just discuss everything about her character. But you know, again about Camille, she showed up to set and her script was dog-eared and torn and highlighted. And, yeah, I mean, notes everywhere. And the preparation was just, she prepped like I prepped. Like she was directing and writing the movie. Like it was just, she knew that it was so important.
So she came day one, delivered, put the smack down on you. How did you feel day one? Because this is new, right? This is like, I've stepped off.
Honestly, it was incredible, man. I felt really comfortable and safe because of our crew, first and foremost, being so amazing on day one. We had a great first AD, Michelle Mietti, who did an incredible schedule that allowed us to shoot this movie in a very tight time frame that made sense. And she was smart with the way she scheduled our first few shots, because all of our first few shots are just like exteriors of buildings that we did. So it was like, yeah, get the crew moving and everything, you know, get everybody familiar with each other.
What was the best, the first day on set or the last day on set?
I mean, the last day was sad because I really loved all of the people I was working with, and I was like, we made like a little mini family on this, and I felt like, oh, I'm not going to see him for a while, and it just felt bittersweet. So I think the first day, even though I was so nervous to get going, I think the first day was better than the last day, but the last day was also really great.
Yeah, well, everyone came back. You're all reunited here.
Yeah.
So much of the film, the practical effects of it, you wanted to say with the practical, you didn't want to do CG, or at least limit that. Were you concerned about that going in? Like, what was that process?
Yeah, I mean, for the shot when Wilson, blows his brains out, we had time for 2 takes, and there's no CG in that shot. It's all, we had a whole thing set up with the back of his head, and we also knew it would be in slow motion, and so if there is a problem, you'll definitely see it. But we did it in 2 takes, and the cleanup of that was a nightmare too, just because it gets everywhere. And, yeah, but we got it.
So you're an expert in exploding head cleanup. That's what you're saying.
It's something I've learned on this.
You would have to. And then also, not just the practical that you used in the film, but also like practical locations.
Yeah.
You were able to liberate there, like the fairground and stuff like that. Happy accidents, or these were places that you've been scouting for months and years?
No,
what did you find during the paradox?
No, I knew of them. So like, for instance, the Shawshank prison, I shot a review for Shawshank Redemption there, and I became friends with the person who runs the tours, maintained a friendship with him, and reached out to him and was like, I would really like to shoot there, is that possible? And they're like, yeah, we shoot stuff here. And I was like, we don't have any money. They're like, yeah, come on. Because I maintained a friendship with him, and we were close, and he knew I was from Ohio, and we paid him a little bit, but it was nothing like what they're normally paid, I'm sure, to shoot there. For the fairgrounds, yeah, that's a real abandoned amusement park that my mom really did go to when she was a kid. It's called Chippewa Lake in Ohio. And, wow. Are you 79 years old? That's awesome. No, when I was a kid, she took me there, and when it was still closed, she showed me the roller coaster, and rusted and covered in vines, and it always stayed in my mind. And I did a thing that has paid off, but was a big risk, in that I wrote the script around these locations,
Right.
knowing that if I could get into these locations, it would make the film look more expensive than it was. The problem is that you have to get in. You have to make sure you can get in. And so that was a whole thing with the Medina County who owns that place, but we did get in. So yeah, no, I scouted and found all those locations just driving around Ohio looking for abandoned shit, and Ohio has a lot of that.
And I guess that's part of like the fun of this as well, like as a filmmaker, because you're so deeply embedded in all of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even that football stadium you see briefly was an actual, like, half demolished football stadium. The only CG in that shot is the word Shelby. And the car graveyard that's in the film was behind someone's used car repair shop, and I literally walked up to him and was like, can I fly my drone through there? And he went, sure, cool, thanks man. It's gonna be in a movie one day, but...
Did he believe you? Did he think it was really gonna be a movie?
I think he thought that I was crazy.
He was right.
Yeah, he's right.
He's right.
But all of that was just driving around Ohio trying to find stuff to create an abandoned ghost town. That sort of wide aerial shot of that 3-block radius of houses is, again, no CG. That's a abandoned block of houses in Cleveland that they let us shoot there.
This is the stuff, you're going to be telling this story, obviously not just in this room, but as you roll this film out, because this is the stuff that is, I think, the most inspiration behind all of this, right? It speaks to a school of filmmaking at any cost, right? That like, you're just going to go out there, you're going to do it, you're going to find these places, and you create something that you created it yourself, without a giant system, without a studio behind you. Sure, you had support, but you made this thing work in a way that other people wouldn't even think to. And that is a true inspiration, I think, for filmmakers everywhere. you want to take a couple of cues?
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Do we have any questions in the audience? Just, right here, hand up, person with the phone over their face. Get my good side, please. This is all with you. The question was, do you have a vision for a full found footage film? Did this originally intend to start out as exclusively found
Before
footage?
ever writing it, that was the first thought. But once I started writing it, it did change into how it is, and it stayed the way it is pretty much the whole way out. What I will say though, man, is I do have a vision for a prequel and a sequel. Christian Parks.
Oh, billionaires for 24th, go see it, and we'll make 2 more. Okay, other questions? General right there, glasses, yep. Understanding working within the budget, what was the hardest scene or scenes to pull off?
I would say the sequence in the attic with the ritual was a tough day. It was 100 degrees outside. We were in the set that had been freshly lacquered that morning. And if you imagine like that scene in Meet the Parents where the fucking altar blows up from the lacquer, we felt like that every minute of that day. We just had an elaborate thing planned, and it plays. And it's the type of thing where people come up to me and they're like, yeah, that was cool. And I'm like, and in my head I'm thinking, oh, about the 10 shots we lost that day. But nobody else is. It's a me thing. That day was tough, and it was very hot, and our poor actors were in like 3 layers, you know? Everyone had fans underneath their clothing in between takes, just like, ah. We had a baby on set, we had a blood gag, we had a stunt. It was just, that was a tough day. That was a tough day.
Whose baby was that?
So, no, it's not my kids are in the movie though for a second. They're actually in the movie twice. Because there's a shot of a pregnant person in the movie who is my wife while they were pregnant. And so they're in the movie kind of like in their own little way. Anyway, so what happened with that was we were shooting the fucking movie and I'm like, we don't have the baby yet. It was so terrifying. We were like a week out from shooting as well, and it was becoming one of those situations where I was like, oh my god, am I gonna have a CGI baby? That's like the worst CGI you can do as a baby. And the traditional routes of casting did not work out, you know, getting people to ask in those ways, and I just made a post on Facebook. And I was like, guys, please help me. Does anyone have a 3-month or less old baby?
Could we do dousing blood?
Yes, that doesn't mind that they're in a horror movie, and you know, that's the other thing. And gratefully, my amazing friend Dylan Newell, Chris was a recent father, and he was like, I would love for my kid to be in a horror movie.
Dad of the year.
Yes.
Right there.
Yeah, he just saw the movie last week, and he was like so excited. He was like, I can't wait to show him when he's older. He's like, it was really a genuinely like heartwarming thing. It was perfect. And his name is Atticus. Bro, did everything right.
But battling Camille, right?
Yes, there was every time I'd be like, you have to sleep now, Atticus. He'd be like, perfect.
I want that kid.
Yeah. I know.
Is that kid available?
I know.
Okay, I think there's a question here. Yeah, right there.
Thank you so much for being here. I love the film.
Thank you.
I was wondering if you could talk about the most valuable piece of feedback you got, either in the first draft of the script or a work in progress.
Question is, can you talk about the most valuable feedback you got either in the script form or at the first cut of the film?
What I'm going to say is I'm so privileged to have worked with a lot of people who are fantastic editors. I already mentioned Patrick Lawrence and Brett Bachman, but also Mike Flanagan. Mike Flanagan's an editor too, he edits all this stuff. And those 3 individuals being by my side during post, could not ask for better angels on your shoulder than those 3 guys. Just always there saying like, maybe try this, try this, try this. And you know, this is an old-fashioned rule that you hear sometimes, where you get out of a scene before it's done and get into a scene while it's already happening. And we do that a lot in this movie, but Mike took it one step further. And I'm not going to say what the scene is, because it doesn't matter, it's not in the movie anymore, but like there was a scene that was very much so a baby, you know, one of my things, and it was very difficult to shoot it, and we pulled it off, and everybody was proud of it. And multiple iterations of, you know, the film and the editing bay, we got to a point where we all kind of felt, I think we all felt the scene didn't have to be there, and Mike was there, and he was like, "You can cut that." And I was like, "I know." And then we cut it, you know. And it's tough. So kill your darlings, you know. You've heard it before, but it's true.
That's great from the feedback standpoint. As a first-time filmmaker, what were the big learnings, and what would you want to share with the audience who are also, we have a lot of prospective filmmakers and writers in the room right now?
I think, you know, I watched a lot of, I can't tell you how many times I've typed into YouTube, so-and-so filmmaker, advice for aspiring filmmakers, Steven Spielberg, tell me what I should do. And I've watched those videos endlessly, and I've heard a variation of the same types of things, which are usually, everyone has a phone in their pocket. What's your excuse for not making a movie? And I'm like, come on. That doesn't do anything for me. I'm already doing that. Like my whole life I was making stuff. And since everyone has a phone in their pocket, that's the problem. It's oversaturated. Everyone's trying to do it, and it's harder to stand out as a result. And so what I realized was I need to go to where genre filmmakers are and meet them and become friends with them, but not in a way where it's like I want something out of it, like I'm trying to sell myself or whatever, because they can always smell that. So I went to Fantastic Fest and I was like, I'm gonna meet people who are making the stuff that I want to make. And that's how I ended up getting a film made, was going to genre festivals like Beyond Fest. That's the biggest piece of advice I can give any aspiring filmmaker, is come to film festivals and watch movies like the movies you want to make. Meet the filmmakers afterwards, but don't just like run up to like the most famous. Look for the producers and the folks that maybe you don't immediately recognize, who can actually help you, you know, and want to, like Aaron Kuntz, who are like,
You're gonna get mobbed.
Everyone talk to Aaron. He's
Okay, time now is 1:36 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, super duper late. I really, I really don't have a lot of time left. Today is a chill day. To me, this is a weekend. So I woke up, I had a nice 7 hour and 40 something minutes of sleep, which woke me up. And then I did the laundry, I watched a bit of anime, and then it was already around like 2:30, and I still don't have a response from Eris Baker. So at 2:30 p.m. I DM Eris Baker. I was like, hey, are we still on? Like, so do you want to meet today or next week? Because next week is tough. I have After the Hunt. So, she quickly responded. She's like, yeah, we're still meeting today, right? Because I thought, you're still on, right? And I'm like, yeah, oh, sorry, I thought, you know, because I haven't gotten a response at 2:30, and it takes me a little time to get to campus. And she's like, no worries, let me know when you arrive at SCA. So I took a bus and I went to SCA. And while taking a bus, I always listen to music. This has been a problem since yesterday, or I think since since yesterday, I guess, where for some reason only one side of my earbud work. One side of my two earbuds work. And only the right side works, and I did a bunch of stuff. I tried to like press it very long and then, you know, try to reconnect the earbuds and everything. And then now only the left side works and the right side doesn't work. So it's not like a battery issue. It's not like one of them is dead. It's more of an out of sync situation with my earbuds. So anyways, more about that later. I met Eris Baker, and she's just a regular black girl, very big eyes. And we shook hands, and then we sat down at the side, and we just talked. I was ready with like notebooks and stuff. Like, I didn't take them out, but I was gonna take them out. But it was a little too formal. We just sat down and talked for about like 20 minutes, and yeah, we just talked about her 310. And honestly, it's even more simple than it seems. She needs she has three. Her script has 3 locations: a lake, a blue room, and a laundromat. First of all, lake has no PD. Blue room I thought would have the most PD, but she really wants it to be minimalist. And my first thought was, okay, we can film on the soundstage and paint the walls blue. But her idea was the most likely idea is to find a white room and then just shine a blue light on it, so it's not even a PD thing. The only thing they need would be a blue carpet and a fan. So, okay, not too difficult. And then the third location, laundromat, is the most difficult because we need like signs, and then we need clothes for the laundry. And at first I thought she meant like clothes that the characters are wearing, and then it turns out she already had a costumes person, so okay. And then I asked about a bunch of logistics things like what's the budget, which is 300 to 400, which is totally enough. And then who's the DP, who's a producer, never heard of them. And how she knows Ethan, Quan, and Harley. She knows Harley, and then on the same set she also met Ethan Quan, but you know, pretty cool. I asked her how she was 310, and she said it's been stressful, but it's really nice, and she's like, yeah, it's gonna be chill, it's gonna be great, so let me know. And I'm like, sure. And I saw Emma from Cannes, but she left. The moment I finished the conversation with Eris Baker, Emma left. So I went back home, took a bus, and after I went back home, I tried to reset my earbuds, and I did a bunch of stuff. It finally worked. And now I realize that I need to go to Ralph's because I'm running out of food. And again, the next few days, I have no idea if I have time to go to Ralph's or not. So I headed to Ralph's, I walked over there, finally got to listen to music on both my ears. Fantastic. I got shit tons of stuff. And took a bus back home, bus 37, horizontal, and then walked south. And then I arrived home, and then I finished some salmon, a frozen scallion pancake, and some carrots, which is a weird lunch. And then I suddenly fucking realized that the Shelby Oaks screening at Beyond Fest at the Egyptian Theater is 7 p.m. and not 7:30. My plan was to leave at around 6:15 or 6:30, because if I leave at 6:15, let's say it takes me 45 minutes to head to the Egyptian, I arrive at 7, and then I have like half an hour to get in, which is perfect. But as it turns out, it starts at 7 p.m. Holy ball sacks. Thank God I double checked. And so I immediately finished eating, and I checked my transit app, and it told me that the earliest I can arrive is like 7:20. So I was like, no fucking way. So I Ubered. I sacrificed. I took a $22 Uber ride to the Wilshire, Vermont metro station, and then took a metro all the way to Egyptian Theater. So if I have to directly head to Egyptian, it's probably going to be $40. So yeah, but still sucks. 22 is like a Criterion Blu-ray, you know. And now it's just a car ride. Are you fucking kidding me? It was really stressful on the car. I was waiting at every single traffic light. Yeah, alas. And then another thing is the metro. They don't come very frequently. So the Metro E line that's heading towards North Hollywood, it either arrives at 6:49 p.m. or 6:48 p.m. or the next one will arrive at around 7:05. So if I take the former ride, I will arrive at the Egyptian Theater at around 7:05, and then if I take the latter ride, I will arrive at around 7:20. And of course, I really want to arrive as early as I can, so 7:05. Except the Uber ride is stopping at every traffic light, and I might not make the 6:48 p.m. train. The 6:48 p.m. to North Hollywood. So I looked at the transit app, and I started seeing the train getting delayed 1 minute, so 6:49, and then 6:50 p.m. But for every delay, which is good, the Uber gets held back by another traffic light. So it was so close, and at the end, the Uber ride slowly crossed the road and put me off, and then I immediately ran towards the train station. I ran down the escalator, and I was right fucking on time. Not a single second late. The moment I ran down the long escalator, I heard the train arriving, and it was perfect. Thank God. Had I missed that, I would have been screwed. So yeah, I hopped on the train, patiently went to Egyptian Theater, and then I soon arrived at around 7:03, or no, 7:05-ish, I guess. I immediately walked through the gates, got a ticket, and then I went in. So Justin T already sat down at that point. Justin T arrived earlier than me, even though Justin T was also slightly late. And it turns out the whole thing is nearly full, and I really struggled to find a seat. I eventually found a seat at the very, very front, third rows back, at the extreme most far right side. And as it turns out, it's not a bad seat. I still had a pretty good angle of the screen, and I was able to see Chris Stuckman up close. And so at the end, it was nice. So yeah, so we watched the film. It was mediocre, and then I met up with Justin T. We took the metro back, and I ended up going to Justin T's place for about 15 minutes, chatted a little bit, and then I came back home, and then it was already like 11 p.m. And I'm like, fuck. So I had dinner, which is very small. So today's a malnourishment day. I'm not being very malnourished. I'm not being very nourished. And I just filmed a review. I just edited a little bit. I need to finish Flowers of Evil. Holy shit. And I need to edit college update video. And I have so much to do. Fuck. But yeah. I will try my best. I really will. Okay, time now is 11:46 a.m. in the morning on September 30th. We have arrived at the end of September. I slept from 4:30 to 11:40. Yeah, so I'm back on my sleeping very late type shit. And that's bad. I just give myself too much to do. Last night I had so much to do. It's honestly fucking crazy. And I managed to do most of what I wanted to do, which is why I went to bed so late. I, watched 3 episodes of anime, or 2.5. No, 4 episodes of anime. 4 episodes of Flowers of Evil. I edited college update video. I filmed and edited a movie review really fast. So yeah. And I even did laundry a little bit. So that is a lot of stuff. My hair is so ugh. And then, yeah. Oh my god, my hair is just I look like a fucking chestnut. Yeah. But I still couldn't finish the anime, so I'm gonna finish it right now, this morning, and then film a couple reviews. So that's that. So today I'm going to see One Battle After Another at the Vista Theater with Michelle, which is very exciting. I can't wait to see this movie. The thing is, ironically, despite the movie starting at 6:30 p.m., and then yesterday, the earliest thing I need to do is 3:30 p.m. meeting with Eris Baker. Today, I kind of have to wake up earlier, even though I actually didn't, because Michelle's coming to pick me up around 2:30 p.m. because we need to arrive at the Vista earlier because there's going to be humongous line. So, yeah. Don't have a lot of time to do anything in general, which is crazy. And on top of that, this week is midterms week, so I have like shit to work on actually. But that's basically it. Yeah, that's basically it. There's also a bunch of side stuff going on. Like Jacob yesterday asked me if I want to get together and like study for the motion picture script analysis midterms, and then Ethan Kwan sent over a text asking us when we are available to meet to talk about PD. So lots of things I need to do, lots and lots, which is good. But yeah. I don't feel excluded by society at this moment. But it's just crazy that sometimes I feel that way. Yeah. And that's pretty much it. Also, Ella, the Annenberg student, just DM'd me asking me if I want to talk about like Trump and his tariffs on foreign films. And of course, I'm probably gonna say yes. So, yeah, we'll see. Vista.
Nice.
Vision.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Okay, this is where it is.
So where are we going? This one?
Whoa. We're probably. Whoa. What the heck? Whoa. Have I told you about Pink Pantheress?
Yes, you did.
This is the singer.
Oh, good for her. Okay, where should we sit?
Welcome, and welcome to the Vista. Is it anybody's first time here? Okay, okay, just a few. Well, it's very special that you're here to division. And now a few quick reminders before we begin. Please note.
Okay, time now is 2:11 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, it's really late, and I'm once again running out of time. Also, my hair is just like a horizontal fucking spaceship right now, which is gorgeous, exactly how I want it to look like. But yeah, anyways, today is another chill day, I think for the most part. Despite that, I have been running out of time really, really hard once again, and I really fucking hate that. I really hate that every single day I'm just running out of time a lot. Yeah, this morning I woke up at 11:40, but I didn't get out of bed until 12-ish. And that was when I found out that Ella, the girl from Annenberg, the journalist girl who interviewed me for HKOS Film Festival, suddenly messaged me asking me if I want to get interviewed real quick about Trump and his tariffs on foreign films, or foreign-made American films, which doesn't make sense at all. And so, me being a good Samaritan, I was like, sure, let's do it. So, not only did after I wake up, I immediately watch Flowers of Evil, but after one episode of Flowers of Evil, at 1:15, I got interviewed by Ella over Zoom for like 10 minutes. It was really fast. She thanked me, and then literally later tonight, the article was released and an Instagram post was made, and I was quoted. So my name was literally there, and it's hilarious. It's kind of surreal, actually. But yeah. So before that interview even happened, Michelle suddenly Discord texted me out of nowhere saying, "I'm on my way now. I'll be there in 20 minutes." Holy fuck! My original plan was to watch 4 episodes of Flowers of Evil, film my mini movie review video, maybe film my Flowers of Evil anime review, get interviewed, and then maybe work on the YouTube community post for my album review. I ended up doing none of that fucking shit, other than the interview. I watched 1 episode of anime, and then I got interviewed, and then I immediately filmed my mini movie review, my movie roundup video, and then I immediately fucking left. No time at all. So I changed up, and I went downstairs at around 2:15 p.m. I had Michelle wait for me for quite a while. And then she drove me to somewhere near Glendale, Los Feliz, which is where Vista Theater is. And then we spent the rest of the afternoon and night there in that area. We arrived there, and there's no queue outside of Vista Theater. No queue. And so we thought we should find food first. We found this restaurant called Home State, where they have like tacos, or more like I found it. And we ate there, and it's not bad. It's not a bad place. Quite nice, quite chill. Had a Coke and 2 tacos, and yeah, it was quite nice. And then we just walked around. We went to Goodwill, and then after we came back from Goodwill at around maybe 5 p.m. we started lining up, and then at around 5:30 p.m. they let us in. So at 5:30 we went into Vista Theater. We sat down, and I decided to go to the bathroom and also buy some popcorn. And then the movie begins, and for 3 hours straight we watch one battle after another, which is a really great film, really fun, really entertaining. And then at 10 it ended around 10? No, it ended around 9:30. And then at 9:30 we left. She drove me home, and by the time I got home it was like 10:20. And then I took a shower, and then I made dinner, and it was already like midnight, and I'm like, fuck, I just lost, the whole day is gone. So to the best of my ability, I immediately edited my movie roundup video. In fact, it just got finished exporting, which is fantastic. My plate of dinner is still here, and it's just absolutely brain crushing that I have so much to do. It's midterms week, I have papers due, I got a midterm on Thursday, which is 2 days later, and then I have like, YouTube stuff. I have tons of videos to edit. I want to finish the can video, so much, the fucking reviews, and also set stuff. Starman, Ethan Kwan wants to meet tomorrow night. Jacob wants to meet me to do revision, to study for motion picture script analysis class tomorrow night as well. I have a therapy session tomorrow, and then on top of that, I gotta start preparing for Eris Baker's 310, which, you know what, I'm gonna push aside just for a little bit, just for a wee bit, because too much is fucking happening at my face. I can't believe it. Despite not being employed right now, I'm already busy as a dick. So, yeah, this is crazy. I'm just gonna stop my video here. It's too much is going on, and I don't really have a lot of thoughts outside of that. Yeah, yeah, not a lot of thoughts. I don't know if I can sleep early tonight. I'm sorry. I gotta finish Flowers of Evil. I have to finish Flowers of Evil, and yeah, that's it. That's all. Tomorrow should be fun. And Thursday should be fun. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.